every day, we eat the right kinds of food, you add the right kind of nutrition and vitamin to your body to stay fit. Many of us go to gyms, we do yoga, we do meditation. There are so many ways through which we can keep our body fit. Mind also follows a similar platform. There is no difference between the mind and the body because mind is also a part of our body. So, keeping what exactly is a healthy mind? Let's look at that. If I talk to you about a healthy mind or a person who is naturally going about his life, the person would be apt in doing things on a daily basis, will be comfortable with his or her routine. Life stresses will not pull down the person too much. He'll be able to handle and tackle daily stresses, will have a control over his or her emotions well, and most of all, be able to manage interpersonal relationships very well and create a work life balance. Since most of us are students out here, I would like to say a balance between your studies and your home is what I would like to say. So, that is what you do when you have a healthy mind. You normally handle life situations, things come your way, you find a solution, you don't get too agitated by it. There could be situations where you might feel a little worried or a little anxious, but you're able to overcome that, and your emotions help you to manage the situation. In a healthy person's mind, or a healthy mind, emotions do not overpower the mind. The mind is always in control of a healthy person. But when we talk about someone who is unable to keep a healthy mental state, what does that mean? That is that the person's emotions and the person's mind is overpowering him. And I think most of us have gone through those situations. In fact, everyone has gone through that situation in life where the mind does try to overpower us. Like, take for example, if I come across any event in life, or maybe if I've not done too well in an exam, or maybe my relationship with my best friend is not going very well, in that kind of a scenario, my mind will create certain thoughts, perceptions, some kind of a scenario where I will overthink negative thoughts. Now, a healthy mind will tackle it very beautifully. I'll try to find solutions. If I've not done well at a test, I'll remotivate myself. Okay, I'll pick up my book again, I'll do the test again. And if there's some miscommunication between me and my friend, I'll go talk to my friend and resolve the issue. But in case of a person who's anxious or has some kind of a mental pressure, would not be able to do that. The person will not be able to self motivate. The person will not be able to go and talk to the friend and say that, well, I think there is a problem between us. The person will sit and perceive 20 different things, create situations in his or her mind, thinking why this is so negative. Okay, so this is how a healthy and an unhealthy mind would tackle a situation. So, how do we understand the difference? Let's look at that. A healthy mind, okay, your general state of well being, and a state, I'm sorry, one second, and a state that helps you overpower things, okay, something that you should be looking forward to, something that your mind is into control, where I have a situation right in front of me and I can manage my emotions, I can manage my situation and find a healthy solution to it. Mental illness will cause a barrier to finding a solution. My focus will always be on the problem, and I will be unable to understand what the solution to my problem should be. It will interrupt my emotional levels, it will interrupt my thinking and my communication. I think this is something that very commonly happens with people, where they need to talk to somebody and they are unable to because they have fear. This is a very common problem with students and with people who have to talk on a daily basis. Many times when we have to do public speaking, it becomes a little difficult because we are scared. Then there are people who find it difficult to make new relationships, create new friends in life because they have social anxiety. So for people who suffer from mental illnesses or are not very keen into understanding that difference, the problem is that they are not able to bifurcate between the two. So when I have to find a solution, my focus will be on the problem and not the solution. So a person who is mentally low or is unable to find solutions to problems, is unable to think and react appropriately to a solution, we will pull that person into that category where the person is not rationally be able to think. So this is a place where you can ask for help from others to help you out in a solution, or seek the advice of an expert who can help you find what the root cause of your anxiety or your problem is. All right. So, what are the characteristics of a mentally healthy person? Let's look at that first. The person has a positive self view. I'm always positive about myself. Even if I hear things about me, they will not affect me so much. I will be able to understand the difference between constructive and destructive criticism. I think this is something that very commonly happens with us when relatives come over. Okay, they come and they give us so much of free advice. Oh, you should do this, you should do that, take up this course or do that. So positive self image in this case is very important. There will be people who will come and constantly talk to you about where you are going wrong, criticize your ways of life. But always remember, keeping a positive self image about yourself is very, very important. That is a very important characteristic of a healthy mind, that I am self motivated and I have confidence in myself. Do not enter into the territory of self doubt. The first problem to mental illnesses are self doubt. So, keeping a positive view of the self is a characteristic of a healthy mind. Capability of growth and development, where I'm constantly growing and I have the will to grow. I have taken up a course, for example, and the moment I finish it, I try to utilize those skills in a job or probably go for another advanced course to keep my growth process growing. So that is what a healthy mind would do. I will look for opportunities to continuously grow. The mind will not stagnate. But when a person is mentally low and is unable to take decisions, where the mind can be influenced by other people very easily, the person will have difficulty in growth. The person will not be able to take steps towards positive growth in life. Autonomy and independence. Now, autonomy and independence is not only in terms of physical autonomy or independently doing your things, but here I'm talking about even emotional independence. This is one factor that you must inculcate in yourself, and that is independence on your emotions, in the sense being your dependent on yourself when it comes to emotional dependency. This is one of the major factors that causes problems in life. And for this, I think even Lord Buddha traveled to the forest and went through the process of deep meditation to detach himself from emotional dependency. He gave us this concept that too much of attachment or too much of emotional dependency on others can be the root cause of sorrow in life. So this is one thing which we all must learn. And the problem with mentally unstable or people who are mentally low or not able to carry themselves forward in life have that they have too much of emotional dependency. They depend on others to take decisions for them. They depend on others for every little emotional need. So this is a difference between a healthy mind and an unhealthy thinking process. For everything I will need validation. Like everything I plan to decide to do for myself, I will run to people for their advice. And if they say no, I'll be like, oh my god, is it right? I mean, should I listen to them? That is what will happen. So the mind goes into a continuous overthinking process here. This is something that you must overpower. Get emotionally independent. These are very easy things to do. They may sound very difficult, but the fact is, the more you grow in self efficacy, in the sense, in simpler terms, the more you grow in self confidence, the more strongly you will be able to portray these traits. Because when you are free of self doubts, you are sure of your decisions. When you're sure of your decisions, you will be able to take life ahead very beautifully. Accurate perception of reality. Now, this is one point which comes in cases of severe mental illnesses. When we have patients who are suffering from schizophrenia or personality disorders, they are absolutely detached from reality. They have no clue about what's happening around them, and they will always need some family member or social support to bring them to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, because they are completely unaware of their problems. They have no insight of what is happening with them. But if you have an idea about your reality, when you know what to choose, from what to choose, difference between right and wrong, then you are a healthy mind. And you must train your mind to think logically and accept reality. This is also one key factor that must be included in developing a healthy mind: acceptance and reality. Many times what happens is that some incidents don't go our way. Life doesn't, have that path that we had thought of. Sometimes life may just come in as a, surprise or a shock to you. In that case, sometimes we are completely unprepared to tackle life. For example, the COVID scenario that just happened with all of us. Throughout the world, people were so taken aback by the incident. Many didn't know what to do with their lives because they lost their jobs. People were back home struggling with interpersonal relationships, struggling with work, struggling with finances. In this case, we had a very high amount of depression and anxiety cases during this time, because people were feeling very lonely, who were stuck up alone at home, had a troubled time. And people who were staying with their family members also had a very difficult time, because there were, in fact, to tell you the truth, there were many divorce cases as well during this time, because the couple were not being able to manage things between them, and finances were taking a toll. So in this scenario, what do? Remember something, that acceptance is the key to everything in life. Whatever comes your way, accept it wholeheartedly. Okay? Accept your reality. If you can't change it, make peace with it. That's the only formula to living happily. If you can't change it, accept it. Like, we had to accept COVID, we couldn't do anything about it. We had to sit at home for a very long time, but then by and by we got adjusted with things and scenarios. And now, in fact, when I tell people, they say, no, we are very comfortable working from home, we don't want to go out. So people have accepted that reality. Positive friendships and relationships. People with a healthy mind will never have problems with interpersonal relationships. They will always have great friendships. They don't expect too much out of other people also, and they will be ready to give and be supportive when people need them. So these two factors are again very important, because they help you create a balanced life. So healthy relationship development, always being able to move forward in relationships, is a trait of a healthy mind. Environmental mastery, where I'm aware of my environment, the resources that I have, and I try to make the best of it. I would put it in simple terms in a way that, let's stop cribbing and let's have a lot of gratitude. I think we all are very lucky. Even in after such a long pandemic and such negative situations around us, if today we can discuss mental health, we have technology, we have electricity, we are enjoying talking to each other right now, we are alive and breathing. I think that is one of the biggest gifts God has given us today. So master your environment. Okay, be happy with things around you. Even if things are not going your way, learn to make the best of the resources that you have in your hand. These are the characteristics of a mentally healthy person. As I go through the PPT, there could be questions that you would like to ask me. You can note them down. Once we are done with the session, I will open the house for questions, and you're free to talk to me and ask me anything you wish to. So, what exactly is mental health and what it isn't? So, mental health is important. It must be taken very seriously, like you would take physical health, something that everyone is intrinsically linked to. It's inbuilt. You must look after it like you would look after other organs of the body. Okay. On a continuum, it is a continuous process, will always be there till we are alive. Mental health is going to be a part and parcel of us. So, look after your mind like you look after your body. Worth making time for. Never think that it's okay, it's all in the mind. It's never like that. There could be situations that have troubled you. There could be root causes to problems. There are many times, when my clients walk into the office and they say, I'm clueless about life. I just don't know what to do. And I ask them, what's troubling you? I don't know. So when I talk to them through a lot of therapy, through a lot of psychometric testing, we come to know what exactly the root of their problem was. And the root sometimes is in their childhood, because they had bad interpersonal relationships when they were kids, or probably they did not have a nurturing environment at home. So today they are very confused and mixed personalities. So anything can be a root cause to your mental problem. Never neglect any thought or anything that is coming to your mind. If you think that is really troubling you and it's overpowering your process of growth, please be very serious about it. So worth making time for. You can make time for yourself on a daily basis. Just give yourself 15 minutes. Even if you sit and meditate for 15 minutes, your mental state will be at peace and at calm. Part of being human, of course, mental state is part of being human. So it's going to be with you all the time as a package. Something we need to look after. positive and negative. Yes, please remember that there will be an outcome where there will be positive reactions, there will be negative emotions. It'll be a combination of both. Accept them with open arms. Okay, when something good happens with us, we are so happy, and we say, oh God, thank you so much. I passed my exam. God, wow, I got such a pretty girlfriend. I got such a nice boyfriend. There are so many things that you could be very happy about. But when something negative happens to us, we start complaining. When something positive happens, do you complain? God, why did you give me first rank in class? Or God, why do I have such a beautiful house to stay in? Why didn't you give it to others? Why did you give it to me? We never do that, right? So similarly, always accept positive and negative. Both are important. Remember, the ECG also needs to go up and down for life to be normal. Otherwise, the heartbeat would go straight and we would die. So the ECG also has to be up and down for life to function smoothly. Similarly, there will be ups and downs in life. Accept them wholeheartedly. Okay, it's changeable and it's complex and it's real. Always remember, things will change. Scenarios in the mind will change. There will be something external that might affect you. Life's incidents can be a part that can completely shatter your peaceful life. Be ready to manage life stresses. Very, very important. Make yourself rock solid. And when something like this happens, the only thing that can keep you going is self motivation, your skills, and your values. So always keep your values very grounded. Keep a set of values and skills always handy with you, so that even if you have to start right from the scratch in life, you are happy and ready to do it. Okay. Mental health isn't a sign of weakness. Of course, please do remember that. It is not a sign of weakness. It is not shameful. Please openly go and seek help. Please do that. Like, you would not be ashamed of going to a doctor for a fever or malaria or dengue. Similarly, mental health is just like any other physical ailment. Please go to a doctor absolutely with a free mind. It's all in your mind. No, you will get to hear this from many people. Take a chill pill, man. Go to sleep. Go watch a movie. Okay, go chill out with friends. In fact, I have clients who have come and told me, my family said, if we give you a good beating, no, your mind will be in place. So it's not that, okay, it's not always in the mind. There are external factors, biological, environmental factors that can disturb your mental health. Always something negative? No, not necessarily. It could just be a basic life stressor that could be could be just resolved by talking to someone. There are times when you are clouded by your negative thoughts. You have the solution right in front of you. A very good example of this is, mummy socks kahan hai, mummy socks kahan hai, and you're going crazy, you're not being able to find the socks, and mummy 1 minute mein aage, ye rahe socks, and she'll give you that look. And the thing is, why couldn't you find the socks that was right in front of your eyes? Because the mind was clouded into thinking that I'm getting late and I have to rush. And mom's focus was on finding socks, right? So that's the difference. We need to focus on the solution. We keep on focusing and get clouded because of the problem. So take it easy, calm your mind down, and all will be good. So something that needs to be thought about isn't something that needs to be you need to think about only when it feels broken. Oh no, please. Mental health is an absolutely continuous process. Like, to stay fit and maintain your weight, you have to go to the gym every day. Similarly, to maintain a healthy mind and a healthy mental state, you must give yourself positive things every day. Things can be like just getting up and hugging your mom in the morning. Okay, hug your loved ones. That's a very nice tip I'm giving you today, because it releases happy hormones in the body. You have serotonin, you have endorphins, you have oxytocin getting released, and you feel very happy when you hug people. So hug them, say something nice to somebody today. Go take a walk in the park, play with your pet, watch something comedy, just laugh it out. If you're feeling a little bit low, just sit with a friend, have a coffee conversation. Don't wait to come to a level where you're in a dark corner and you don't know where to go from here. Don't get to that level. Whenever you start feeling anxious or stressed out, if you can find the solution within a few days, it's okay. But if it's continuous process and it's going on and on, then please seek medical help. An interchangeable term with mental illnesses? Well, no. Mental health is not interchangeable with mental illnesses. Okay, so mental illness is a totally different scenario. It can be biological, it can be heredity, it can be emotional, it can be anything, any life's trauma that could have given you that problem. But mental health is something like physical health. When you look after yourself on a daily basis, like to keep our body clean, we take a bath. So to keep your mind clean, delete junk every day. Okay, and like when we throw rubbish out of the house and we don't go and check on it, no, do the same thing. ऐसा होता है ना, कचरे वाला बाहर आया, you've thrown the kachra, do you go out and then check whether the kachra is fine? We don't do that, right? So similarly it's the same with the mind. When you've chucked out those thoughts, don't go back to them to rethink about it. Okay, it's gone, chuck it out. So feeling good all the time, mental health obviously is not that way. We all feel tired, we all feel exhausted, we are all stressed out and burnt out at one point of time. So every time it will not be on a high. Sometimes mental health or mental, wellness will be low. Sometimes you will feel a mood dip, but once in a while is okay. But if it's having happening constantly, please seek help and ask an expert. Okay, snap out of it. You can't snap out of a mental problem, please. Okay, it's not hypnosis. When I say snap out and you're out of it, it's a constant mental state. It could be a chemical problem, okay, in the mind, where medicines could help you. There could be a different, but I would always suggest that medicine should always be the last resort, until unless it's a real chemical problem in the mind and the body has stopped creating those hormones. It's only then when you should ask for medicinal help. Otherwise, there are many methods in therapy that can help you combat serious and very, very serious problems. Okay, it's not fixed. It isn't fake news. Okay, it is true. It happens. It happens with everyone. The only difference is sometimes I may be better at coping my problems, or someone may be way better than coping than I do my things. That's the only difference. Okay, so quickly, I want to give you an insight into types of mental illnesses. There are three, four which I really want to stress on. One is stress, anxiety, panic attacks, and depression. And let me give you one, very important fact today that I've been practicing for a long time, and my clientele ranges from the age group of 16 to 33. You'll be shocked to know this. That I hardly get people above 50, 60. My clientele is 16 to 33 who are suffering from these things, what you can see on the screen right now: stress, anxiety, depression. I won't go too much into details with personality. Schizophrenia, I want to touch because there's one topic which I want to touch with youngsters today. That's why I've added schizophrenia here. Otherwise, my main focus on today's presentation was stress, anxiety, panic, and depression. Please listen to these things very carefully and note these pointers down. And whenever you feel that you are suffering from any of these factors, please seek help immediately. Okay. So let's look at stress. Stress is a natural bodily reaction to anything that happens around us. Okay, it's important for survival needs. Okay, if we don't have that, if you don't react to a situation, you won't be able to push yourself. Like you have an exam tomorrow morning and you're too relaxed, you won't be able to study. So you need a bit of anxiousness, a bit that I need to do well. So that is positive stress. It will push you towards doing well in the exam. So that is okay to a slight level where it pushes you positively. It's fine. There can be times when you will be more stressed out because you're physically, mentally drained. Okay, like take for example, there's a wedding in the house and you're preparing for the last so many months. That also gives stress. Yes, there is positive stress in life. We have a lot of couples, who come for marital counseling just before their wedding, and they say, we are having arguments because we are so happy and so stressed out, and that is leading to this thing that it ends up into irritation sometimes. So there is positive stress too in life. So learn to differentiate between the two. When there's a positive scenario, there'll be positive stress. When there's a negative scenario, there'll be negative stress. Positive stress will come and go as the scenario is over. As the incident is gone, the stress will go away. But negative stress can stay with you for a pretty long time, and that is what turns into panic attacks and depressions later if not treated in the right time. Okay, so your body, mood, and behavior will change. Let's look at the symptoms of stress. Fatigue, okay, you'll generally feel very tired. Irritability, you'll feel very irritated most of the time. Insomnia is one very major problem with stress. People who are stressed out, they are sleepless. Okay, so many a times they won't get sleep for days and they get very irritated because of that too. And constant headaches because your mind is constantly thinking of a solution to things. So or constantly overthinking, even if you're not getting a solution. So, headache is a very common problem. If you are suffering from these things once in a while, where you feel irritated or you're fatigued or you're tired, and you feel fine after you've slept, or you've gone out for a picnic or spoken to a friend, you've gone to watch a movie, it's okay. Once in a while, fine. But if this is happening with you on a daily basis, please seek help, or at least try and find the reason behind your stress and try to eliminate that. It could be that you're overworking, it could be that you're not giving your body enough rest. So that could also be one thing. When you're physically tired, you're mentally tired too, right? So try to note the root cause of your problems. Always go to the root. Always, whenever you feel something like this, go to the root cause of the issue. What is causing this thing? And immediately try and eliminate it, because if it keeps on growing, then it becomes very difficult to handle. So these are stress symptoms. Later on, after I'm done with speaking most of these pointers, I'll give you techniques and tricks to how to overcome these stresses like stress, depression. I'll give you an insight into that. So as of now, fatigue, irritability, insomnia, these are the common factors. If once in a while, okay. If it's continuous, please work on them. Seek help. Coming to anxiety. Now, what exactly is anxiety? Anxiety is the feeling when you get when your body responds to a frightening or threatening situation, also called the fight or flight syndrome or the fight or flight response. Now, what exactly is this? Take for example, I'm walking down the road and I'm very busy, listening to my music and looking into my phone, and suddenly a car screeches right next to me. So for 2 minutes, my heartbeat will be here, 130, 140. Okay, why? Because I have there was a stressor, or there was something that was threatening right in front of me, and my body reacted to that and immediately gave me a response or a reflex action to take a back step, and I stepped back to avoid getting crashed. So that is a momentary thing. That is the momentary anxiety that will happen, and then it'll go away. Like, take for example, if you notice, when you're preparing for an exam and you've studied very hard all night, but you're still very the paper is very tough, or maybe the subject is tough, and you're very anxious what will come in the paper. Notice when the teacher is distributing the question papers, your heartbeat is like thud, 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 thud. Okay, and the moment you get the question paper and you read the first question and you know the answer, you're like, ha, at least something I know in the paper. Okay, so my instant reaction is that. So this is momentary anxiety. But imagine if after giving the paper and after writing the paper well, I still come back with that palpitation of, did I do well? Even after writing well, I'll be like, did I do well? How many marks will I get? What if the teacher doesn't like my answers? Oh my God, what if I fail? Now, until I get the result, I will be like this for a few days or maybe a month. That is anxiety. So what happens is, if it's on a momentary basis, there's a situation that's come up and you're anxious and you've left it, that's okay. But if it's a continuous process that's going on and on, that is something which you need to keep a tap on, because anxiety turns into panic attacks. I'll come to that later. But anxiety is something that must be curbed immediately. If you think that your anxiety is not coming under control, seek therapy. There are a lot of relaxation methods that we can do to calm down, because that is there are a lot of breathing techniques, mindfulness techniques that help you overcome anxiety and stress on a daily basis. So seek help. If you can't manage things yourself, work on it. So, what are the symptoms of anxiety? When do I come to know that I'm suffering from severe anxiety? When my worrying doesn't stop. I'm constantly worrying, even after people tell me it's okay, nothing is going to go wrong, relax, all is fine, but I still worry. Okay. Fatigue. I worry so much, I get so tired. I'm constantly worrying, and my body and my mind is not at rest at all. Restlessness. Constantly waiting for the result to come. I'm too restless about it. I can't wait for it to happen. Increased muscle soreness. There'll be cramps in the body when you're too anxious, because the body dehydrates when you're too anxious. So it is very important that you keep yourself hydrated on a daily basis, not only during stressful scenarios or something like that, but when you are in a whenever you feel slightly stressed, drink a lot of water. Okay. Impaired concentration. Your concentration will be completely impaired. You will not be able to concentrate on things. So when you feel that your concentration or your mood is going out of your hands, where you're constantly irritated and not being able to come back to a normal mental state, understand that it is a symptom of generalized anxiety disorder, or something that is pushing you towards that zone. Okay, you're constantly irritated and you have a lot of difficulty sleeping. So these are basic symptoms of anxiety. Please keep a check on these whenever you think that there is no stop to overthinking, or you're just not being able to control yourself after a long time of being anxious. That's the time you must be seeking help. Coming to panic. Now, what exactly is panic? When you think too much and when your anxiety touches the roof, you will reach the panic attack levels. What exactly is panic attack? When we were in school, we had studied science and we had studied the symptoms of a heart attack. It's similar to that. It's like a mini heart attack happening. You'll have palpitations, you will be like totally stressed out. This is a situation that will always keep you on your roots, and this is a very bad situation for the heart and mind, because it gives you a very bad physical impact on your body, because your heart is always beating faster. So imagine, when your heart is always beating faster, it's going to have a very negative effect on your heart and mind. So this is something that must be kept in check. How do we check the symptoms of a panic attack? Nausea, the feeling of vomiting, okay, chills or hot flashes. Suddenly you will feel chills, or you will feel very, your body will start heating up. There'll be redness, there'll be rashness. Sweating, you'll start sweating a lot. There'll be trembling in the hands, slight bit of numbness, dizziness, you'll start feeling dizzy, heart palpitations, and hyperventilation. Breathing will be, you'll really struggle to breathe. Many times when clients come to my office, they sit here and suddenly they have a panic attack while they're speaking about a problem. And this is something we have to practically tackle. They actually hyperventilate, they just can't breathe. They suddenly feel like there's a heartbeat going, raising up and coming down. So at that point of time, we do relaxation therapy with them. We teach them to breathe, we tell them to calm down, then we continue an activity which helps them completely calm their mind down. So panic attack, there are many methods that we can do. If we are left with time today, I'll try and do a small activity with you where I can teach you how to manage a very stressful situation in case you feel any of these symptoms, how you can immediately counsel yourself. Okay. Depression. One of the most important things that I wanted to discuss today with all of you is this thing, because most of my clientele walks in with this problem. If I have 10 cases a day, 9 are depression cases. I'm very serious about it. So this is a very serious mood disorder, okay, that causes persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest in life. You'll be totally hopeless. You lose interest in the things that made you so happy, on a daily basis. Like if going to the gym made you happy, or working on projects made you happy, chilling out with friends made you happy, you lose interest in all that. You don't want to study, you don't want to work, you don't want to go out, you don't want to have social contact, you don't want to do anything like that. So this is it puts you in a little dark phase where you are away from human contact. You don't want to be with people because you're feeling very low, and you have this constant perception that people will not understand your state, like they, or probably you don't want to show them that you're low. That is also one reason people stop associating with others during depression. That because I was a happy person once, and if I have like a frown on my face today, what will people think? What happened to me suddenly? And when they'll ask me, what reasons will I give? So it becomes very difficult for them to answer everybody, This is, and depression is one problem that many people went through during the COVID circumstances, because many were stuck and they were all alone at home. Many lost their jobs, many lost their loved ones. So it kept them in a very dark phase. Depression is a very serious problem. If not tackled at the starting scenario, it can be very dark in the later stages. And coming back from depression, though you may bounce back, but this is something that can be like a recurring pattern. If your mind goes back into that phase, it can go back into depression. So we have seen patients whose depressions have come down and then have gone back again. Okay, so this is something that you should very seriously tackle, and be very constant about this thing, that you need to keep your mind out of that dark zone. Do not let yourself go towards those things. If you're feeling a low mood for a day or two, it's okay. There could be things like, losing out on something in life. Oh, by the way, there's Valentine's week going on. So many people may have sent chocolates and roses and teddy bears, and probably they may have got rejected. Please don't get disappointed. It's okay. you'll have a lot in life to look forward to. So because people walk in with these kind of things, many people walk in with depression into my clinic with this reason, that they have relationship issues. And this is a very common thing, with the youth today, that relationships are causing a lot of problem. So this leads to depression because they feel they are unwanted, because they feel they have no self, because there's no worth. They don't feel worthy enough. Okay. And remember that if you want someone to really appreciate you or feel that you're worthy enough for them, you have to first value yourself. Okay, so why will a person value you if you don't value yourself? Create your benchmark. This is my benchmark, and you can't cross this. This is how I will value myself. If you value me, be with me. If not, it's okay. So accept rejections. People who are rejecting you today, इसमें तेरा घाटा. हमारा आई थिंक यूथ एंथम है ये. मैंने बहुत यंगस्टर्स को ये गाना बजाते और गाते सुना है. इसमें तेरा घाटा मेरा कुछ नहीं जाता. Okay, so remember this song very well. Every time you have someone who is pulling your self-esteem down, or you are ending up into something where you are feeling low mood because of some other entity, some other person or people pulling you in that phase, please do not listen to them. Okay, if you have internal very serious things in life, like a traumatic incident that has put you into depression, losing a loved one or losing something very big in life, maybe your job, or you failed a year or something, that's still okay. You can still bounce back. It's okay. Things come, things go. Life is always constantly changing. Things will not remain the same. But a low mood must always be kept in check. If it's continuously going on, and if you're in a sad phase, and if you feel you're losing interest in the things that used to make you happy, used to make you happy on a daily basis, please seek help immediately. Okay. All right. Coming to depression symptoms, what are the symptoms of depression and how can you recognize these things? Suicidal thoughts and attempts. Extremely, that's an extreme phase, but the depression phase will start with low mood. It will start with fatigue. It will start with trouble concentrating on things, feeling of worthlessness. Okay, feeling guilty all the time, a loss of interest in things that you used to love to do at point of a time, staying irritated most of the time. Okay, so these are factors that you must remember. uh, they come and they go. If they are constantly there, then it's troublesome. Insomnia and then overeating. Oh yeah, one very very common and very strong symptom of depression is overeating or not eating at all, changes in appetite and changes in sleep. Either you're sleeping too much or you're sleeping very less. Either you're eating too much or you're eating very less. So if there's that kind of a change, please seek help immediately. Guys, these things can be very easily tackled. They look very severe, they look very serious. They are, yes, they are very serious. But if tackled at the early stages, things can be very normal very easily. We have a lot of clients who walk in the initial steps, and like within a few sessions, I think but in about 6 to 7 sessions, they're all good to go. They're all back with motivation, and they're so happy to start life back on that track. And they message me saying, I went to the gym today, and I did this today, and I did this activity. I completed my project. I had these things. I started my new course that was pending since a really long time. So to avoid these things, to get into that zone, keep yourself busy. Never sit idle. Okay. Whenever you feel these kind of things, immediately divert your mind. And if after trying hard it's not working, then please tell some expert to help you come out of the situation. Okay, I did not want to add schizophrenia here today because it's a very severe mental disorder, and it should have been actually discussed during a psychology workshop. But I just wanted to touch this topic lightly today because I have a lot of youngsters who walk in with the problem of schizophrenia because it is drug induced. So I wanted to just discuss this drug induced schizophrenia. Now, what exactly is schizophrenia? I'll first talk about that. It's a disorder where a person has no insight of reality. Okay, so basically your mind disconnects from your body and the surroundings around you. So you will laugh when you're supposed to cry. You will cry when you're supposed to laugh. You will feel sad all the time. You'll have no control over your emotions. And if you go to a severe phase, you will hallucinate, in the sense things that are not there, you can see them. Things that are not around, you'll hear them. There are auditory and there are visual hallucinations. So for example, like we had a client who was a drug induced schizophrenia. He could see a black shadow trying to push him, or trying to overpower his mind and tell him, it would control him and command him to do things. And in that zone, he actually once even attacked his family. Okay, so drug induced schizophrenia is a very, very serious thing. Schizophrenia can be a biological problem too, but many times these days it is quite drug induced. For people who go into weed, hookahs is a very common thing that we see in lounges these days, for people who are indulged in a lot of nightlife and all. So you'll very commonly see hookah bars and those kind of things, where people are putting weed in hookah and having that. Now, smoking that weed gives you an instant high. It's a psychedelic. It will put you into that high zone for that time. But when it wears off, it gives you these kind of things. And let me tell you one thing very seriously, schizophrenia is a lifelong problem. If you fall into this trap, it will take years and years to come out of it. So that's the reason why I wanted to talk about this today, that please be very careful of this thing. And under any peer pressure, or even if people try, अरे ट्राई कर लेना, एक बार क्या चाहता है, एक ही बार तो वीट ट्राई करना है, क्या हुआ, देख ट्राई तो करके देख कितना मजा आता है, क्या हाई, क्या किक है. Please do not listen to anyone. That's my humble request to you today, as an elder, as a psychologist, as a human. Please do not fall into these kind of drugs or any kind of weed kind of traps, because they will lead you to very, very dark corners in life. Okay, so schizophrenia symptoms, because you're off reality, because you don't know what's happening around you. What are the symptoms? You will, like I said, you will laugh when you're supposed to cry. You will cry when you're supposed to laugh. You don't know who's around you, what's happening. You might end up attacking your own family members, or have negative or crazy thoughts about them. Then you have hallucinations. Like I said, you will see someone controlling you. There was a client who was just 24 years old, who was drug induced schizophrenia, and he had this feeling all the time that someone had operated him and put a chip into his mind and was reading and controlling his thoughts. Now imagine a life like that, where constantly I'm feeling that someone is controlling my thoughts. Someone is feeding those thoughts and controlling my mind through a remote. What kind of a life would that be? Right? So I don't mean to scare you today. I want to keep it very light. So, but I still thought I should tell you this thing. As youngsters, you must be careful of such things, right? So hallucinations will be one part. Second will be anhedonia. Anhedonia is low mood and a sad mood constantly. Flat affect, where you don't feel emotions at all. You'll be apathetic. People will be crying around you and you will be like, not reacting to it at all. It's going to be like that, right? Then grandiose, where you have feelings where people should worship you, all those kind of things. So these are things that you will see in schizophrenia patients. I won't touch it too much, just wanted to give you a gist of it, that these are very severe symptoms. They will disconnect you from reality. So please stay away from any kind of weed, any kind of stressors that put you into this situation, please. Okay. Quickly, I'll just give you an idea of personality types. This is a very interesting concept, because then after this, I'll give you tips on how to keep your mental health fit. What are the personality types that are there in the world? So there are 4 types of personalities you will encounter on a daily basis. Type A personality, self-driven, very motivated personalities, but very competitive in approach. Okay. So these kind of, now you can try and recognize which kind of personality type you are. You may fall into any one of these categories. And if you do fall into the what you call the very anxious types, please learn to control your anxiousness. Okay, so type A personalities are self-driven, very motivated, highly competitive. Okay, now because of their competitive nature, they are very anxious all the time. So because they want to do well and they want to be always ahead of others, so that puts them on a burning point. But they are very they're big brainiacs. They have a lot of brain to use. They can do very well in life because they're self-motivated. They don't want anyone to push them. They can do everything themselves. But because they are on that burner all the time, that gives them a lot of anxiety. So if you think you have any competitive streak in you, try to reduce that. Okay, keep that in control, because too much of anxiousness will always keep you in a stressful mode. Type B, very charismatic and very easygoing people, very chilled out in life. They are happy with whatever's coming, very relaxed. Okay. And one negative point of the type B personality type could be that they are sometimes they get too laid back. They just need to keep a check on that. If they are not too laid back, then they will be able to do very well in life, because they take life. They are those kind of people, when life throws lemonades, make pina colada. They are those kind of people. Okay? So just focus on that. If you are an anxious personality, try to create a balance between these two things. Introverts, type C, they will be introvertish personality types, very, very stress prone personalities, highly stressed, highly anxious, and they have a problem with self efficacy. They always want validation. They always want someone to, second their opinion or finally take decisions for them. So this is a personality type that you would not want to be, because they're emotionally dependent on people for most of the things. So I would suggest, keep a check on this too. Type D personalities, again, they love routine and they love to follow orders, and they are those kind of people again who are very anxious in life. So they will go by others. They can't do anything by themselves. They cannot take decisions. They will always be in a job where there are people above them and are constantly instructing them what to do. Very, very dependent on seniors in life, also personally as well and professionally. So at home, they will want parents or other people to do things for them, and when they're at work, they just want instructions from the boss. They personally can't, push themselves to do things. So these are the four types of personalities that you can encounter in life, and most of us fall into either of these four personalities. There could also be types where there could be a balance between the two. So that's okay. If you can balance your positives and negatives, great, right? So I have given you an insight into what kind of personality types are there, and what kind of mental illnesses you can encounter on a daily basis. These are things that I specifically wanted to mention because these are daily things that we see. Stress, anxiety happens with us on a daily basis. Panic, okay, depression. Depression is a later stage, but then low mood, we all suffer from all that. That's why I've touched these major things. Otherwise, mental illness is a very vast topic. I'll need days to cover that, right? So I thought as youth, you will connect to these because this is what we face on a daily basis. But what I would say is that don't go to the level of burnout. Okay. The moment you start feeling stress, start controlling it. And like I said, as physical fitness, mental fitness is also a daily routine thing. You must implement a few minutes of mental fitness every day. Either chill out, read a book, Sudoku, exercise, do whatever makes you happy. Paint, write, do whatever is comfortable, but keep your mind active. Okay, so coming to a very beautiful tip. Now, how do we control our mind? Like I've given you so much of pravachan on keep control over your thoughts, keep control over your thoughts. So how do we do that? Okay, now there's a very beautiful story by Buddha with the thirsty Buddha. Okay, so one of Buddha's disciples walked up to him and said, "Sir, I have a very complicated life." And there are so many thoughts going on and on and on. Just not able to control them. It's so much data over here. So Buddha just smiled, listened to him, and said, "Okay, you go to the nearby lake and get me some water." So the disciple ran to the lake, and the water was very dirty, very mucky. And he came back to Buddha and said that, "Sir, I'm sorry, I won't be able to serve you that water because it's very dirty." So Buddha said, and then he started ranting again about his problems. "Sir, I have so much of problem in life." And Buddha listened to him for a few more minutes, and then again he said, "Okay, fine, go back and get me the water." So he ran back, and this time the water was crystal clear. And he filled up a bowl. He came back to Buddha and fell at his feet. And then Buddha said that, "See, this is how the mind is. When it is too cluttered, it will be dirty, it will be mucky, and it will not be able to give you the precise solutions. It will always be on a run. And when you let it settle down, it's ready for use." Like when they allowed the water to settle, the water was ready for use. Similarly, when you let your mind settle down, it will be ready for use. So whenever you feel you're not being able to come to a solution or life is too stressed out, take a breather, take a break, leave everything, walk away. Okay, whether it means going taking a walk, or whether it's a 1 day 2 day trip. Sometimes you're like too mucked up and you really want a break. Go take a break. Everything else in life can wait. Always remember, if you're physically, mentally fit, you will be able to recover and cover up for all the lost time. But if you work on the cost of your mental and physical health, you will never be able to recover that. Okay, so don't lose out on your mental peace for anything. Keep this tip in mind, guys. Very, very important. Never ever lose out on your mental peace. If you have to choose between two things, and one is, crores of rupees and mental peace, pick mental peace. Relationship and mental peace, mental peace. Job and mental peace, mental peace. Always go for that. If you are mentally relaxed, everything else will follow you. Okay, so stay happy and stay chilled. Okay, so tips for mental health. What do you need to do? Very simple tips that you can do on a daily basis. We don't have to wait to, come to a place where I really need to run to get therapy. You can do it on a daily basis on your own. Be active. Very important. Physical exercise is very, very important. Whether you do yoga, go to the gym, you do jhadu pocha at home, it's okay. Anything that you like to do, do, but stay active at least for 1 hour every day, because staying physically active releases happy hormones and endorphins, which are natural painkillers. So you have serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins getting released in the body, and your mind will automatically put you in a happy zone. For all those out here who exercise on a daily basis, know what I'm saying. Okay, when you're really frustrated and you go to the gym and you hit that bag, you punch it, or probably you remove all your aggression on the weights, or you run like crazy on the treadmill, you feel good after an hour and you're all calm and relaxed. Okay, so be active. Eat healthy, very, very important. Okay, eating healthy on a daily basis is very important. So, vitamins, nutrition for the body is a must. Okay, look for professional help when you need it. That is a later stage. Okay, if you can't find any solution with your friends and your family, then seek a therapist. Talk to your loved ones. If you think that talking to family and friends makes you feel better, it gives you an insight into your problem, do that. Okay, enjoy walking, enjoy taking a chilled out time with your family and friends, enjoy picnics, enjoy parties. Get 8 hours of sleep every day. Very, very important. At least seven minimum. Okay. Sleep well, because sleep has a very major impact on your mind. And one more thing that I want to tell you, since we've come up with the topic of sleep, to be healthy and happy in life, if you really want your dreams to come true, there are many people who go through subconscious mind training. Okay. You'll see a lot of courses on the internet on how to train your subconscious mind. I'll give you a very quick tip. Okay, before you're going to bed, 15 minutes before you hit the pillow and you're falling asleep, while you're lying down, take a deep breath, and for those last minutes, think of all the positive things that you want in life and whatever dreams you want to fulfill. Because 15 to 20 minutes before you're falling deep into sleep, your subconscious gets activated. That's the reason why you are consciously off and you're into a subconscious zone. Okay, so your mind will keep those thoughts with it and actively react to it. And in the morning when you get up, your subconscious is still active. It's only after getting up and 15-20 minutes of activity that your mind comes into the conscious zone. Okay, like when you're into deep sleep and someone wakes you up, you take about 2-3 minutes to settle down, right? Yeah, okay, you're waking me up, give me 2 minutes, give me time to get out of bed. So that is the time when your subconscious is still very active. So 10 minutes when you're about to sleep, and 10 minutes soon after you wake up, and while you're still sitting in bed, think of the most positive things and all the dreams that you want to fulfill. Trust me, you will see that happening right in front of your eyes, because subconsciously your mind will get trained to working towards those things. It'll push you towards it. And it is also the theory of the secret. What you give to the universe will come back. So give the universe positive thoughts before you end your day and before you start your day, and all will fall in your favor. Okay. So, two very important things that I wanted to talk about. A very common problem with everyone: how to stay mentally healthy by not doing these two things. Please stop comparing yourself with others. Okay, there's a very beautiful quotation that says that until it's my turn, I will clap for others. Let people achieve, you will also have your time. Wait, if you see, there's a very common problem where I hear clients saying, you know what, I deactivated my Instagram today because I was feeling very toxic on social media, because one friend got engaged, the other one got married, third one was going to have a baby, and I couldn't take so much. It was too much pressure on me. I was like, seriously? I was like, be happy for friends. Yeah? They're achieving well in life. But the problem is constant comparison. You have it and I don't. Everyone has a time zone. you know you don't know the person who's getting married today may have had a lot of failed relationships earlier. You don't know the other person's journey, because people don't post positive things on social media. Negative things on social media. They'll always post positive stuff. So what my journey has been, I'll never post about my breakup. I'll never post about my failure, my lost job, or an exam that I failed. I always post about, like I posted about this workshop that I was going to do today. right? So people will always post positive things. Stop comparing, okay? You will have your time, wait for it, it will come, right? So don't compare. And second, stop bothering about other people's perceptions. Kuch to log kahenge, logon ka kaam hai kehna. It's a very beautiful song. If you haven't heard it, it's a very old song by Kishore Kumar, but do listen to it, okay? Because this really affects us. People's perception, how people think about us, really bothers us a lot. And I've seen people really getting bothered about that. And trust me, I've personally implemented this thing. I don't let people's criticism and their thoughts and ideas bother me. That's why I live a very happy and peaceful life. Their perceptions don't matter to me. If I think that yes, there is something very positive that I can take out of their criticism and get better, do that, because we are all, projects, under construction projects. Till you're living, you will need growth, you will need to upgrade. So if you think someone's criticism has given you a positive point, it's constructive criticism, great, take it. But if it's destructive, please eliminate it immediately. And where you feel people are really acting toxic with you or trying to throw negativity at you, cut the cord between your ears and your heart. जो जो यहाँ सुना, वो यहाँ पर यहाँ तक नहीं पहुंचना चाहिए. Don't let those words touch your heart. It's okay. People will say, there's a very beautiful quote that says that even if you lie down in people's feet and allow them to walk over you, they will still complain you're not flat enough to walk on. Okay, so that will constantly happen. Someone or the other will be displeased. कोई ना कोई लाइफ में दुखी रहेगा ही तुमसे. So take it easy. Okay. If you are happy, everything around you will be happy. Remember, you should not be displeased with yourself. If you are happy with yourself, the world will be happy. Okay. So, like, if you see this Mr. Anxiety over here, this teacup has so much of anxiety. What if no one likes me? What if I taste weird? What if I'm too cold? Or what if I'm too hot? Or what if I'm just right and I can never live up to it? Look at the anxiety this poor cup is going through. Okay. So, what if I'm too good? What if I'm not good? There'll always be a time where you'll be too good. You'll be God for someone and devil for someone else. You can't change that. That's their perception. But you should know what you are. When you answer your own conscience, you should be happy with that. If your own conscience says you're a good person, then you're a good person. Then don't let perceptions affect you. Okay? Okay. So take care of yourself. And how do we take care of ourselves? Love yourself. Self love is important. Like, how would you, take for example, if your best friend comes up to you and asks you for advice over a problem, how would you treat your best friend? Similarly, treat yourself that way. So you'll give yourself the best advice. Okay. So spend time alone. It's always good. Always have me time every day. Spend about 15 to 20 minutes every day asking yourself what you really want from life and what you have done and how you want to go about it. You'll get a lot of insight. Intrapersonal relationship. This is called intrapersonal, your relationship with yourself and with God. So talk to Him, talk to yourself, you'll get answers. Putting yourself first, there are times when you will have to say no. Please learn to do that. Okay. There will be places where you need to focus on your things and you'll have to say no to other people. Don't be a people pleaser. It's okay to say no, to stay mentally balanced. Asking for what you need, ask for what you want. No harm. No harm in asking. If you need help, seek help. That's how we, live life, in coordination, in teamwork. Ask for it. Setting boundaries, very important. Please, for youngsters out here, please set boundaries, especially in a relationship and how people treat you. Okay, because the problem is, I can't tell you, I have a 17-year-old client who is going mad because she's in a toxic relationship, and she has taken so much crap from that guy. I just can't, explain in words right now. And what is happening to her self-esteem? She's such a beautiful, such a talented, intelligent girl, and everything crumbling down because of one person treating her so badly. So set boundaries. Tell people, this is my benchmark, you can't cross this. If you treat me lower than this, you are out of my space. I'm sorry. Please do not take any toxicity in any relationship, whether even it's your closed ones. Staying at home, you don't want to go out, don't go out. Stay at home. You want to feel like curling into bed and, taking a book, a cup of coffee, chilling. Do that. Always give your body and mind what it wants, otherwise it'll take it. Okay, so if your body is asking for rest and if you don't give it, it will take it on its own way, and the way it will take it, we won't like it. Okay, it'll make us sick and put us in bed. We don't like that, right? So when your body wants it, give it. When your mind wants rest, give it rest. Say no. Very important. Okay. Say no. When you can't do it and you really don't want to do it, do that. Forgive yourself and others. I haven't mentioned that, but I would like to mention that. Forgive yourself and others. Forgive yourself for your mistakes and other people too. Okay. Because forgiving helps you calm down. Otherwise, you will keep on bubbling with those thoughts. Leave, forgive, forget, let go. Take a step back. Whenever you feel it's too much chaos, leave everything, take a step back. Take a breather, take a break, come back to it. You'll come back with far better insight. Okay. So, just about to finish the presentation. A very beautiful concept I want to give you before I stop this. How do you stop overthinking? This is a common question that I'm always asked. So I thought before someone asks me, I'll give it to you in the form of a story. That you must be thinking, ma'am, you have given us so many insights on, don't overthink, don't do negative. How do we stop that from happening? So there was this very beautiful story that there was a psychology professor, and he wanted to teach his students the importance of stress management. So he walked into the class and he was holding a glass of water in his hands, and he said that, well, can you tell me what would be the weight of the glass, including the water? So the student said maybe like 200 ml or 300 ml. So the professor said, okay, now if I hold this for a few minutes, what will happen? So they said, you'll be comfortable holding the glass. What if I hold it for a few hours? You'll get slightly uncomfortable, your hand will get tired. What if I hold it for days? Said your hand will get numb and you might even have to go to the hospital to get medical treatment because the blood supply will stop. So, and the professor asked a very beautiful question. Do you think the weight of the water changed in the process? So they said, no, the glass is still the same. Exactly. So he said the problem will always remain the same. It will not grow bigger or go smaller. But the amount of time you hold on to it can be toxic. So you hold it for a few minutes, there's an issue, there's some problem. Hold it for a few minutes. You may get solution, you may not get solution. You may have to come back to it to find a solution. That's okay. But if you keep on holding that thought for hours, it will be toxic. Days, it will numb your mind. Okay. And the mind will not be able to give you solutions. And then you'll go into these dark zones of depression, anxiety, and panic. So put the glass down. A 5-minute formula to overthinking. There's an activity which I want to tell you. Every time you want to overthink over a problem and your mind is just not being able to shut down to overthinking or negative thoughts, set an alarm for 5 minutes. Hold the thought of the problem. Think the worst that you want to think in those 5 minutes. The moment the alarm goes off, shut it. Do not think of the thing again. The alarm, initially it will be difficult. The moment the alarm is off, you've kept it aside, then after a few minutes you'll want to rethink. But this is called brain rewiring. If you notice, like, take for example, you want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You set an alarm for 6. Initially, a few days, the alarm will have to buzz to wake you up. But after a few days, maybe a month or so, your mind will automatically wake you 5 minutes before the alarm. Okay, because the mind has conditioned to waking up at that point of time. Similarly, it'll happen, the same thing will happen in this activity. The mind will get used to that thing. Okay, so 5 minutes and it will automatically stop overthinking. This is the best way, and it has been a very successful method with a lot of my clients. Okay, so use this every time you are into an anxious zone or in a mode where you're not being able to stop thinking negative thoughts, really bad thoughts. Set a 5-minute alarm. The moment the buzzer is off, stop thinking, divert your mind. Do something that makes you happy. Okay? So I'll stop here. And so just ending with a thought that remember that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Fill yourself up first. If you really want to do something big in life, help people out, be an inspiration for others, first be happy with yourself. Remember, you cannot pour, you cannot help others until unless you yourself are filled from inside. So fill yourself up with positivity, with happiness, with happy thoughts. Let life stresses come, let them go, but don't let them affect you to that level where you are unable to think rationally. And if you have come to that level, seek help. Everything has a solution. So, all the best to all of you. And if any point of time you need my help, I will tell Geeta ma'am and the host ma'am out here to share my number with all of you. If at any point of time you need any help, please feel free to connect with me. Okay?
Ma'am, there are some questions. Can we take those questions in
Yes.
the chat box? One
Yes.
student wants to ask. Yeah.
One second, ma'am.
Yes.
I stop the screen.